and indeed the team has trusted him to try and get Nigeria into a better space.
24%. Deus will be backing, of course, his season and a batting attack back.
No surprises there, Davis. No surprises. We have seen he has put his hand up, and he has and when required.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, for me, Adedeji has looked the most enterprising batsman in this Nigerian lineup, and he's continued to showcase what he can do at this level. He's fortunate to have picked up a short ball from Henry Senyondo that Adedeji manages to walk through the vacant extra cover region for 4 runs.
Davis. No, and he picks up a single right after a boundary. Playing Nigeria will be looking at posting a decent score. Waiting is the call. Much better out there today. They do look a bit relaxed.
Won when the last global T20 qualifier, so they played against the top associated nations in the world. So for me, that could have been a massive opportunity for them to go and pick up as many lessons. How they started the series, this looks like the first or their highest total so far in the power play. So for me, it looks like there is progress, the lessons being picked up, and not just picked up, but also they seem to come out and look to improve. And so far for me, I'm satisfied with the work.
Better out there today. They do look much unlike the French bourgeoisie, and perhaps enough
well, Adoni, you
from
must
their previous encounters, and will be looking to
qualifier. So they played against the top associated nations in the world. So for me, that could have been a massive opportunity for them to go and pick up as many lessons. And Nigeria looks like the first or their highest total victory end, and that so allows the introduction of Kenneth Weiss. The lessons being Kenneth Weiss is playing his first game of the tour, so they seem to come out and look to improve. And so far, we've mentioned before that Kenneth Weiss is one that has been in quite a bit of form. He is an all-rounder, but in the middle of many of the teams that he bats in. He plays his trade in Nairobi for the Ruaraka A Cricket Club, but also plays locally for Aziz Damani, who are the local T20 and ODI champions.
Interesting field setup, Davis. A bit too aggressive, you would say?
Rather too defensive for me. Deep square leg is already out, and the long on. I wouldn't mind the deep square leg, but the long on maybe I would have looked at considering a third man option to stay down, because Kenneth Weiss swings the ball largely away from the batters. I would probably consider as well a slip fielder just to get to see if he can.
I'm sure we'll have clarity in a few balls. Ooh. Swung and missed.
Obviously, yes, another indication of just how much life is in the wicket there. Got a bit of bounce, and that managed to swing away. We don't want to think about if he had managed to edge it where it was going to go.
Right.
And again, intelligently, I think one of these guys has a fly in this commentary box. They're listening, and they send the third man back down, and the mid-on comes up.
I did earlier on see Charles Weiss will make the call. Oh. Deus Muhumza comes second in that chase. Adedeji picking up boundaries in every over, Davis. Impressive, impressive, impressive.
Rest of the Nigerian batters. So it is good to see him continue to look to dominate against this very seasoned Ugandan bowling attack. It is a good thing, and it is a good sign for Nigerian cricket.
Well, if he keeps this up, Team Uganda to up their game. Adedeji already at 16, batting out there with his captain. Davis, I must, and if they're able to click, beautiful shot, cracking hit. It did go the distance. 20-run score so far. He is looking in tip-top shape, Davis. He is looking lethal out there.
And the width offering from Kenneth Weiss pays the maximum price and goes for the first 6 of this particular match. But a beautiful shot, a classy shot from Adedeji. And he continues to do damage to this the shots that are expected in T20 cricket. He looks like he's come out to try and send a very, very loud message to the oppositions that he is at the wicket to try and get runs.
And welcome to the T20, the Pearl of Africa T20 series, where the East is literally facing off with the West in a context, a showdown of Africa's finest in this cricketing sport. Henry Senyondo Captain Joshua Ainaike takes a double step, trying to get closer to that one. Beaten by the turn.
Two runs added to the total, but interestingly, of course, for us, statistically, as I mentioned earlier, this has been the best batting power play for Nigeria. They managed to pick up 42 runs for the loss of only 2 wickets. That is tremendous progress coming from the first 2 games, whereby they seem to struggle in the power play, and many of us believe that is where they lost the first 2 games. But for them coming out this morning to literally double their effort and put in 42 runs for just 2 wickets is tremendous progress. And whoa! Simon Sessazi somehow manages to hold on to that. What should have been an easy catch, and what the scorers will take into their record books is the fact that Simon Sessazi has completed the catch, and that brings the first wicket to Henry Senyondo, the bigger brother to Simon Sessazi.
Disappointing. He did look to struggle a bit with spin, and previously Nigeria has been known to fall prey of Henry Senyondo's spin. However, they had me for a second there, Davis. They had me convinced that perhaps they were up for the task today, and it's such a beautiful day of cricket to actually fall that cheaply. But I have to concede, Davis, decent bowling from Henry Senyondo, who made his T20 debut again right here at home back in 2020. He has made a lot of appearances for Team Uganda, averaging a total run concession of about 476 runs, picking up as many as 20 wickets for his side in List A games, and maxing at about 34 runs, an average of about 34 runs every game, every T20 game that he has played. He will not be looked at as a batsman, but he does definitely know his stuff with the ball.
Henry Senyondo continues his good work. Would have loved to have seen a slip there, of course, for the new batter. But that is not the option that is taken. And Henry concedes 2 runs down through the vacant slip region.
Well, if you look at the numbers, you will see that Henry Senyondo has a decent economy for a T20 game. Well, Davis, you have done this before. Would you call a 6.9 economy a decent economy in a T20 game?
Without a doubt. And anyone who goes anything below 7.5, you are doing exceptionally well in T20 cricket. So for him to be operating at 6.9, he will be a bit satisfied with that, but he will also recognize that spinners, especially left-arm spinners and leg spinners, the very, very successful ones go off for slightly less than that. But for him to be bowling at 6.9 is not the world's worst economy rate in T20 cricket. A bowling change from the Lake Victoria end. Kenneth Weiss was solitary over. Is one that he'll have to go and first think about. He conceded quite a bit of number of runs in that over, and he takes a bit of a break, and that allows the youngster Frank Akankwasa to get another chance to showcase to the world what he can do with his off spinners.
Well, no surprises there, Davis. I think this continues. It's a typical play from Deus Muhumuza's brand of captaincy. I know it might be new to the rest of the world, but having played
who goes anything below 7.5, you are doing exceptionally well.
So he will not let a bowler that expensive option under his.
Single off the first ball from Frank Akankwasa, and he is going to be up against Frank Akankwasa, but he's already picked up a couple of runs. Those are the picture. He managed to sneak through the vacant slip region then. Big appeal there. Big appeal for LBW from Frank Akankwasa. He looks very dissatisfied. He thought that should have been a plump. His reaction after the umpire not giving that out looks a bit disgusted.
A bit too dramatic for my liking, Davis. Close. I tend to see that getting very close to descent, very dangerous at this level, to hold on to a feeling. Oh, what was that? What was that? The umpires will consult. Frank Akankwasa lost grip of the ball. It is a bit of a wayward one. A bit of a wayward one from Frank Akankwasa after an exchange between the umpires. It will be called a no ball. Davis, first one of the kind?
Yeah, especially from a spinner, especially a finger spinner. We've been accustomed to seeing a couple of those coming out of the arm a bit, not as one as the bowler would have wanted. Especially that has been happening with wrist spinners, but not with finger spinners. So it will be probably a bit of a slippery ball. We'll account for that, and that's a free hit, of course, following the no ball. And Adedeji puts that to full use. And picks up yet another boundary in his inning. Adedeji continues to do a lot of damage to this Ugandan bowling attack, and but they seem to have allowed him to express himself. I think they've bowled a couple of bad balls to him, some were short and wide, of course, and others he managed to drive them as they were a bit too full. So for him, he's looked to capitalize on whatever he has been given. Unfortunate start, of course, to Frank Akankwasa's spell. He's a much better spinner than that. He will be very dissatisfied with his work so far, and I expect him to come back stronger and better.
Absolutely. Davis, he will be looking to pick himself up. This is very out of character from the young talisman. Short ball, picked up again. Chance. Oh, falls short, and they will be looking for two. He did sprint back with little to no query to his partner, and he is dismissed. Davis and gone.
Yeah, of course, for me, all around bad cricket generally, because one Frank bowled a pretty short ball. He took out his feet, and the Deji wicket, of course, second one throws the right wicket on this.
Another wicket onto the lineup as a fielder, specialist fielder, if such a thing can.
Well, those that are not here, so that is a beautiful thing. That only thank the partners and sponsors that have come in to look to support this event in Rock Telecom, that are in other internet providers, Uganda of this Pearl of Africa during the series.
And if you're looking to vacation, come to the Pearl of Africa. It is the true beauty of
it's a beautiful thing that only
Frank Akankwasa will be giving Muhumuza quite a bit of thinking to do at this point.
Adedeji continued, and Frank and Akankwasa dishes out another short ball, but this time round, Adedeji is able to put that to full use and gets a big maximum. Nigeria seem to be cruising. They seem to be cruising there at 63 for the loss of 4 wickets.
Well, it is definitely a cruising spirit, Davis, and we'll be picking up the rugs with Adedeji. Here comes Henry Senyondo. Adedeji running fast, perhaps interested in a second. Caution will prevail.
I'd be very interested to see what the team analyst for the Uganda side, Alvin Bagaya, has to say about the bowling of the Ugandan spinners. I think for me they've been either too full or too short. They've not bowled the probing lengths to get much turn and do a lot of damage to this Nigerian side. They have bowled too full and too short, and they have paid the ultimate prices.
Was that bowled? Oh my. Davis, this does look like, if I were not a very nice man, I would say premature something. He did have us, he did really, really get us to fall in love with his brand of cricket. And just like that, he will be leaving us hanging. But all round good cricket from the young talisman, Adedeji.
Yeah, certainly his contribution is one that has been massive for Nigeria in this particular inning. And the rest of the Nigerian players will be hoping to fully utilize the kind of start that Adedeji has provided for them. Adoni, for me, as I mentioned, that for me was much better length from Henry Senyondo. It wasn't too full and neither was it short. So for me, that kind of length allows, it creates a bit of doubt and asks questions that not many of the Nigerian batters so far have shown to have answers to. And that brings Muhammad Taiwo onto the wicket with the Nigeria at 64 for the loss of 4 wickets.
Should be 5 wickets.
5 wickets.
Should be 5 wickets. Was that bowled? Henry Senyondo ripping through Nigeria's middle order like a tornado. This does look like he will come to be known at the end of this inning as Hurricane Senyondo. If I were not a very nice man, I would say premature something. Run out chance. He did have us. Ronak Patel picks that up straight into Henry Senyondo's hands.
Quick single there, and Muhammad Taiwo, of course, he's off the mark. He is underway. As we mentioned earlier, of course, it will be key for them to look to capitalize on the start that Adedeji has given them. I would have loved to see an extra attacking fielder like a slip fielder, especially for these two.
History was up his third.
Be on display. The Nigerian output.
Senyondo continues to rip through history in Gaborone. Man card 4 Ugandan batsmen. History in the making. Not the kind of history that you're gonna.
However, that kind of dismissal, and of course the man card. We must understand that one. Those that are for the man card they seem to abide by the rules set by of course the MCC rules and standards of the game of cricket. So the lady has she has all right to try and run them out that way, because when you look at the other end of it is either way, but non-strikers should not be leaving their crease lines before the ball is delivered. So she is right. However, it's a little bit, other arguments have been for it being a bit unsportsmanlike.
I will say this, Davis, in the bowler's defense, she definitely, after failing to bowl them out, she didn't have a lot of options to get Ugandans out, and she did make perhaps that one of the best ways she could get Ugandans out. And after getting 4, I must say her success rate is definitely something worth noting.
She put herself in contention for the best field award.
Well, that is the state of events in Gaborone, but Uganda will be back in action later this week. After winning just 2 games out of their 3. Franka Kankwasa is back in the attack. He does look to have much better control this time round. He has considered perhaps what will be called Uganda's most expensive over so far. Much better length. Oh! Clapped by Muhammad Taiwo. Ronak Patel manages to get fingertips on it, but couldn't hold on to that one.
The best field award.
I cannot call it a bullet, but it was quite that is hit by Muhammad Taiwo. State of events in Gaborone, but Uganda will be back in action later. This left-right batter partnership has been known to tire fielding sides after winning just 2 games out of their 3. Ooh.
Well, that of course bashed through Ronak Patel's hands, allowing the Nigerian duo to pick up another run, yet another run. But Frank Akankwasa manages to find the outside edge of the new batter. Again, as I seem to have hinted on, I think the Nigerians for me have not shown a lot of competence facing the spinners. So for me, I wouldn't have thought twice about bringing the other extra attacking option of getting in a slip fielder in there.
Much better control. Well, this time round, mention Davis that he has considered perhaps what very dangerous Peter Ho in the crease, coming in with about 10 overs to play. He definitely has a chance to steer this Nigerian side, if all goes according to plan, well within the run ranks of about 220. Most expensive over so far. Very nicely played drive by
Much
Peter
better.
Ho.
Oh!
Muhammad Taiwo looking to come back for a second by Muhammad Taiwo. Kept Ronak Patel manages to get fingertips on it. Davis, I would have loved to see a partnership of couldn't hold on to that one. And Peter Ho. I cannot call it a bullet, but it was.
Peter Ho, remember the first game against Kenya, he managed to find very important boundaries at the time when he did a massive recovery job for the Nigerian outfit, but he also sent a few hefty blows against the Kenyan lineup. So it will be an interesting partnership. Of course, it's one that of the batters that have shown a lot of intent. They come out onto wickets to bat to try and score runs. They seem to understand the requirements of T20 cricket. They seem to understand that the column of strike rate is absolutely important. Well, that of course bashed through it would be one to watch hands, allowing the Nigerian duo to pick up another run, yet another run. But Frank Akankwasa manages to find the outside edge of the new batter. Again, as I seem to have hinted on, I think the Nigerians for me have not shown a lot of competence facing the spinners. So for me,
69 for 6. And while the score will look quite low, if history prevails, this is
I wouldn't have thought twice about
Nigeria's best performances.
Bringing the other extra attacking option of getting in
much better control. Well, this time round, mention Davis that he has considered perhaps very dangerous Peter Ho in the crease, and yet again Davis, they do not have a sleep. Is this a sign that perhaps you didn't pass on enough skills to Deus Muhumuza? Field setting skills, perhaps.
No, absolutely not. I think everyone to each their own. Really, at the end of the day, we have to be responsible for our choices, and I think it is his first time out. I think he's done exceptionally well. Besides losing the toss on his first ask, but besides that, I think he's had a decent day for him as captain. He can only get better. He's one that he is a quick learner. He likes to compete. He is a competitor. He hates losing cricket games, so he can only get better. And I don't think it would be. It's the ideal time to look to fault his captaincy at all. I think he's done tremendously well so far.
Well, he does look to have leaned onto Henry Senyondo for the breakthrough. Muhammad Taiwo picks that up. He will not be proud of the pickup, but he does get 1 run down to mid-wicket, deep mid-wicket, bringing bringing Peter Ho
we have
strike.
to be responsible for our choices.
71 after 10.3 at a current run rate of 6.7. Peter Awo definitely looking like a man who wants to invest a little bit of time to get himself going.
Yeah, but equally, Peter Awo would be very cognizant of the fact that he does believe that Henry Senyendo creates the biggest damage from the Ugandan bowling lineup. So he'll probably look to knock him around and see if he can capitalize on just the other bowlers.
And that brings us to the end of the 11th over. And back into the attack is Frank Akankwasa. Yet to pick up a wicket. Had not the best start to his bowling spell. Yet somehow Deus Muhumuza thinks that he's the right man for the task. Davis, is this perhaps a shortage of spin? Could perhaps Uganda take it to heart that maybe they should be playing 4 or 3 spinners?
Yeah, speaking of the spin bowling options, of course, in the Ugandan side, we must recognize that the fact that Uganda today will miss the 4 overs of Brian Masaba. He bowled exceptionally well in the last outing against Nigeria, so he is not on the field. That certainly will create a bit of a challenge in the spin bowling department. But importantly for Uganda is that the injury to Brian Masaba has meant that there is a bit of a late call-up for Gerard Mobiru, who is a left-arm spinner, equally competent enough. He's come through the ranks. He's continued to improve. And Uganda will be hoping that he gets an opportunity pretty soon to showcase what he can do.
Impressive, impressive. Muhammad Taiwo on strike. He has looked to really just keep hitting that around. He has gotten about 4 or 5 runs in his long off area. Looking technically correct. Looking very, very focused out there. And looking to contribute for his side.
Much better length from Frank Akankwa. Jumping opportunity, but umpire disagrees. And Peter Aho, as we mentioned, really, he's looked decent enough as a batsman. He's come in and played a few big shots. Besides that, he's been, for me, good addition for the Nigerian batting lineup so far.
Well, he has kept away from the big shots, and we did see him really out, and he will be sticking to them for now. I waited out, tried.
Yes, I think the Nigerians so far in Muhammad Taiwo and Peter Aho have looked to do a decent job. Of course, of the Okpe brothers, they certainly have looked like they've missed them. These are 2 all-rounders who do a decent job for Nigeria in the mid-order. So they will be itching for return of the 2 brothers. But that creates a bowling change from the Golf Course end. That, of course, following the fact that Henry Senyendo has completed his quarter of overs this morning, and the captain Deus Muhumuza takes an opportunity to bowl from the Golf Course end. He'll be looking to try and keep things.
A good call because Davis offer a slower option, and with his cutters and you know his bowling style altogether. I dare say he is definitely the right bowler to come into the attack.
Yeah, I think, of course, as you mentioned, the fact that he takes pace off the ball, that creates a bit of a challenge again for Nigeria. Nigeria have looked pretty dominant against when there is pace that has been provided to them. So Deus Muhumuza is a good option to try and scamper for the second, but he is sent back. Peter Aho sends back.
I think following the runouts that we have already seen in this game, Peter Aho will not take the chance, will not be greedy. He will sit back and allow.
A valuable single as they look to try and build a bit of a launch pad, preparing for the last 4-3 overs to try and fully maximize.
To welcome you to Nigeria. Maybe we need to have send him. Deus Muhumuza picks up his first.
That will be a wicket. Deus Muhumuza will not forget it. It's his first wicket as a Ugandan captain, and his abilities yet again to take the pace of continuing to be on show here, and he's one that should be able to do well against this Nigerian side that seems to like the ball coming on. With that wicket means Mustafa first game against Kenya, they'll be looking to try and build a little bit of a partnership in here, but for a couple of overs, knock the ball around, run hard, pick up the odd boundary, and see if they can look to capitalize at the back end of the inning.
Davis Karashani out here missing, attempting to spin the ball in air. Definitely very nostalgic. Very exciting to see Deus Muhumuza pick up his first. It will be a memorable one. And it will be a sad one for Muhammad Taiwo. Not the best way to be dismissed.
Mustafa starts off with a full face, full press defense, and keeps that out. That brings an end to the unsuccessful over from Deus Muhumuza, first as captain, so he will feel good about that. He started off his captaincy pretty well so far, having Nigeria in a bit of trouble. He'll be hoping Uganda can pick up a victory and look to get very deep in the Pearl of Africa series as they look to try and make sure they can get into the final itself.
78 after 13. Frank Akankwasa back in the attack. Oh. Frank Aho, very watchful of that one. Well, altogether, Davis, in this encounter, Uganda has looked to give each of their batsmen a chance, each of their players a chance, and Frank Aho goes big, and he goes long.
That goes down to the long on boundary, picks up a maximum. Peter Aho, clearly a strong lad, manages to come down the track, hits with a spin, puts his strength on display as he hits that ball against the wind, but the ball has the wings and the legs to run over the boundary for six.
Well, he did not have a lot of resistance from the wind, Davis, I must say. It's quite come out here. The breeze is a bit off for now. I can tell that from just how the leaves in the trees look quite calm. So perhaps it was a good time to take him on. Frank Akankwasa recovers with a dot ball. Peter Aho will be looking to get off strike. Risky, chance. Oh.
Bit of a risky single down there. An attempted sweep shot, but that is ably stopped and collected by a waiting Senyondo Henry, who looks to try and have a shy at the stump, but Frank Akankwasa is not able to complete the run out.
Well, Davis, there didn't look to be any communication from the batters. The only communication to come from where we're seated did appear to be a run or running move, running by Mustafa Yusuf.
Yeah, the running around has been a bit of a concern for the Nigerian team. I think there's been a couple of not just the communication challenges, but I think they unfortunately are leading the statistics in terms of run-outs. That is a statistic they would want to change pretty quickly, especially in T20 cricket. That looked pretty close. Mustafa Yusuf doesn't trouble the scorers today. Today is not one of those days that, like the one he had the other day when he had a beautiful partnership with Peter. This time he is dismissed because LBWs, and that is given out by the umpire.
My word. He did just look to plant that front foot. Frank Akankwasa gets his first wicket after bowling his allotted 4 overs for 31 runs at an economy of 7.75. It will look like a decent shift for the young lad.
And with that wicket, allows Prosper Oseni to walk in and see what he can do and look to contribute onto this Nigerian total. Nigeria are in a spot of bother. They are struggling to try and, first of all, foremost, complete their allotted 20 overs. They're at 85 for 8 after 14 overs. So they're leaving. So far, they have 36 balls to play around with. Which balls they'll be looking to try and get as many runs. However, the wicket column of the wickets is a bit of a challenge for them that they only left with 2 wickets. So it's very prudent for them to look to try and get to 100 without losing any other wickets.
Well, Davis, they have seemed to be in a rush. Beautiful shot from Peter Aho. He will be looking to take 2. Davis, I was earlier saying, I do not think they've been able to complete their 20 overs in the entirety of this tournament. I don't know if you recall differently.
Interesting. That's obviously something very interesting. I don't seem to remember that either. What we've come to recognize and understand about Nigerian cricket, especially West African cricket, they're sides that are very groomed and very disciplined, and in the aspect of looking to make sure they utilize their allotted overs. So it's a bit strange and disappointing to see that Nigeria has continued to struggle to make sure they can bat out their 20 overs. I think it is.
And I think they definitely have to work on the execution part of that plan.
Very quiet, but yet seems to be as Uganda looks to wrap this in.
That was a nice sound from the bat of.
Does understand, simply do the easy thing and try to get him on strike and allow him to take full control. Who provide something that the Nigerians, of course, following the completion of this Nigerian tale.
Need to perhaps give the youngster Gerard Mobilu a go. Be offer a bit of a disappointment, if you ask me.
Through for a single, keep that to nothing. But took it. I think the fact that he is an all-rounder, it allowed Coach Lawrence Madlani to look to the inclusion of him in Nigeria that have struggled against.
Well, there is no doubt, Davis, that this will be coming to an end very soon. But what with Peter Aho, he has shape and technically correct. He has taken on the bad balls, pick a spot, and get. Is currently bowling at an economy of 3.5, and he will be looking to keep that economy lower. Prosper Oseni claps that down. Peter Aho on strike, and quite the headache to their respect. Area managers to put down for picks, bringing up from this time for just 1.
Is up, of course, the 100 up for action. They lost a couple of wickets and the run rate was literally stalled. But Peter Ho, yet again, just like we said, single to allow him a couple of boundaries to try.